Howdy YouTube, Ducky here, aka the Murdoch, and we're back in this video with a little bit of a combination of a few different topics. So it's partially a Western Wednesday video, although this is not going to be released on a Wednesday, obviously. Um, it's going to also be a little bit of a reaction to the election and a little bit of a just very general life update video. The first part of this video was meant to be a fun, simple little thing for the Western Wednesday upload, which was going to be a who would you vote for from a Western film, or which character would you vote for? Who would you consider voting for in terms of, who they are as a character? And there's a lot of great options across Western film, because a lot of Western heroes embody what we respect or like in a person. They're generally strong, they're typically intelligent, they're very brave, they live by a certain code. But yeah, there are a lot of great Western characters who would be very worthy of a vote. There's a couple that directly come to mind, but my official pick, I think for the sake of this video, is probably a G.W. McClintock, John Wayne's character from McClintock. He's a strong man, he's an intelligent man. He seems to be very fair-minded in terms of, a lot of issues, or at least the issues that come up in that movie. In a lot of ways, he's a very likable person. We know he's flawed, but we like flawed people, don't we? You like people that are relatable. And McClintock is, I would say, fairly relatable, especially from a guy who's meant to be this incredibly wealthy, cattle baron, a man who's probably pretty used to getting his way, right? But he still comes across as being very likable, and obviously that's a lot of what John himself brings to the role. Likable and flawed, right? So anyhow, but we know he's a very successful business owner, but he still seems to be a man of the people, and he's willing to give everybody a fair shake. So my pick for cowboy president is probably McClintock, G.W. McClintock from McClintock. Really quick life update thing. So there's a reason why if you watch a lot of my videos, there hasn't been the same schedule. A lot of just legitimate distractions that have prevented me from buckling down and filming and editing videos. The big one though is that on the 20th of this month I'll be getting married to Daisy, and so that's really cool and really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. At the same time, I'm looking forward to it all being over. And we've been together a long time, over 7 years. We've lived together most of that time, so I think we're still, realistically, it's probably not going to change a lot for us on the day-to-day routine, but it'll be kind of cool that society will finally recognize our relationship and value it in the way that it should be, because we've been together so long. That's taken a lot of my time and a lot of my focus, and so given all the things I've had to put into prepping for that, I haven't had the same time to film videos and edit videos and all that. I have, as of this moment, I have at least 3 videos, just material worth, stacked up. So it's just a matter of buckling down and editing for the most part. But along with the wedding thing comes the honeymoon, and then we have Thanksgiving coming up too. So my videos here will probably be a little bit sporadic. I'm going to do my best to make sure I have a video or two to upload every week throughout the next 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. And then after that, hopefully I'll be able to get back on a relatively normal schedule. But it's hard to say then, not too long after that, the honeymoon, you have Christmas coming or whatever. So we'll see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it with that. So that's just a little bit of a heads up, I guess. I'm probably mostly going to show my reaction to the election from what I filmed the other night. Well, I don't even know where to begin with this whole election thing. My channel was never meant to be and is not a political channel at all. That's obviously not the intention of what I do here. Because I don't do anything politically related, it's not my goal to alienate anybody. But I think I still wanted to express some at least general feelings and reactions to the whole thing. And hopefully everybody or anyone who watches this video can kind of be understanding and respect that. So there'll be a little bit of kind of low quality general reaction footage spliced into this. You know, politically speaking, I'm a little bit all over the map, I think. I live in California, Bay Area, and by California Bay Area standards, in a lot of ways, I'm a fairly conservative guy holding a certain amount of like conservative values. And then in terms of like, you know, maybe a lot of the rest of the country, you know, I'd probably be a fairly liberal guy. Across the political spectrum, I'm kind of erratic. So I wanted to tell a quick little story. This last summer, I went to Montana. One of the days we did a trail ride. I was at the front of our train or whatever with a lady rider who was the guy in front or whatever, and then there was a guy at the tail end or whatever. So I ended up talking to her a lot. And she was just a really interesting person. We were making small talk, and she said that she was born and raised in Montana, but at one point she'd moved to Portland, Oregon, which culturally speaking is pretty much the polar opposite of the Anaconda area of Montana. It was sort of funny her describing sort of what the world was like there, the scenes that were there, and like the types of clubs that were there compared to what she was used to in Montana. And, you know, it is quite a bit different, right? She sort of implied the idea of like gay or lesbian relationships and that sort of world not really being for her, that culture not being her own. But she sort of had an interesting view on that situation, even though she didn't seemingly agree with those people or their actions or who and what they were or whatever. She said something to the effect of, in the end, we all just want to be loved and understood. And I think that's very true. Whether or not you are a Republican or a Democrat, you know, straight, gay, black, white, you know, all the typical opposites, I think that's mostly true. There's always a percentage of people who have no desire to be empathetic or to be fair-minded or try to understand. A lot of people just don't care, right? But in general, I think people just want to be heard and understood. They want their opinions to be respected, and they want to be cared for, right? So, in the end, we all, you know, want to be loved and understood. And this woman who was born and raised in Montana as a country girl, horseback rider and breeder, she apparently had served in the military and had a daughter that was also going through the process. You know, she was aware that even though there's these people out there that were totally not what she was, she had that understanding that, at least she seemed to have the understanding that we're all different. This lifestyle, this culture was different from her own, but she was comfortable with that. She understood that that wasn't her thing, but maybe that was fine for others. And in the end, you know, I think that's really important. That understanding, respect, and sense of empathy for others. So I'll sometimes label myself as a don't tread on me libertarian. Kind of whatever that means. In general, I'm just a big believer in living and loving and allowing others to live and love in the way they see fit. You know, for the most part, as long as someone isn't hurting themselves, their neighbors, or loved ones, or society, in truth, I think they should pretty much be allowed to do it. As I believe that people shouldn't really be getting up in my business for things that aren't really their own. Desiring for others to not tread on you, I feel, means that in turn you should not tread on others. Be realistic about it. Really ask yourself if someone's actions, whether or not you agree with them or disagree with them, in particular in this case disagree with them, but ask yourself, what does their doing this thing affect you? How does this affect you? In truth, you know, just be introspective. Be fair. Be kind. Because in the end, that's what you desire, right? You know, just be fair. I can't help but feel that the repercussions of this election are nebulous. I guess I don't really have much of a train of thought here, but it's concerning on a lot of levels. I guess the big concern with Trump is it's kind of the unknown, and it's, I guess, in a lot of ways a fear of the unknown. All things considered, I don't know how many of my friends or people I know who are worse off than they were 4 years ago or 8 years ago. But in truth, I don't know how many of them were worse off 12 years ago or 16 years ago. These things are kind of weird. They often feel like they could change things horribly and dramatically, and I suppose in many cases they can. In a lot of the cases, though, we feel like the world is going to come to an end, or the sky is falling. And, depending on who you are and, what you are, what you believe, that could end up being the case. But at the same time, we don't know that. And I think that's one of the things that in this particular election cycle that make it the most frightening, especially with this result. I don't find Hillary to be a very likable person, but in a lot of ways, it's kind of the devil you know. The fact is that we have a basic idea of who she is and what she is. She's a career politician. We know she's done some shady shit, and we know she's not really the most likable person, obviously. In a lot of ways, if Hillary won, there was at least this slight comfort in the devil you know. I think realistically speaking, I think most of us probably believe, or I'm willing to bet most of us believe, that not a lot maybe would have changed. Maybe not a lot. There's a certain reach that she might have had beyond what, Barack Obama has done or his policies or whatever. But you could probably have a pretty reasonable guess that she's not going to do too much far beyond one way or another of what, he's done. But with Trump, who knows? He's obviously a wild card, is that he is this renegade. On that level, he is likable. Not to necessarily say that I like him, but I understand that appeal. I understand the appeal of someone who is a wild card and who's going to mix stuff up or whatever. I guess my biggest concern really just in this case is the unknown. The thing is with Hillary, even if I didn't like her, I was comfortable with the situation. I was comfortable with the status quo. It's not about me. It's about how this whole thing might affect a lot of other people. And yeah, that remains to be seen. Who knows? Maybe there is some golden rabbit that gets pulled out of a top hat. I don't know. There's too many unknowns. Understand that it's not just about what's good for you or what's right for you or what's going to benefit you. It's important to care about what's right for other people. As always, thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give the video a like. If you're not subscribed and you want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. As I always say, it makes me feel like I accomplished something. But otherwise, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.